Now, the higher self and the ego. In the book, The Proxy Diet, the ego has three components, okay? You have the inner self, the personality, and the body, or your physical presence. Now, a lot of people have done studies on different subjects about psychology or spirituality. So you might have learned different explanations to these words. However, for the sake of explaining this concept, let's just leave it as is and just understand that these are the three components of the ego. And I highly recommend that you read the book again, so you gain a better understanding of how I explain the different components of the person, okay? So here we have the higher self and the ego. And the ego now has three components: the inner self, the personality, and the body. The inner self is in direct contact with the higher self. Another way to understand the inner self is that inner dialogue that you have going on in your head all the time. It's like you can't keep your mind quiet even if you try to. And people do try, you can meditate for a few minutes and manage to quiet down your inner voices, but it's hard to completely quiet the mind because there's a lot going on in your inner self. So the inner self is like a call center. It receives calls and requests and complaints and information from all sources that you can possibly think of. So a lot of that information can come from your physical body. Some of it may come from the world around you, the interactions that you're having with people. And a lot of it comes from that higher self that we mentioned, that's giving you a sense of direction in life without really interfering with your day-to-day activities. And you hear this chatter all day long. And sometimes if you don't understand what it is that you're hearing, it gets overwhelming. The personality is the diplomatic aspect of the person. That's the part of you that the inner self decides it's safe for you to present out there to the world so that you can have healthy interactions, you can build relationships, you can get jobs, you can be accepted in society. So the personality may not be the most honest part of you. It's more like safety and acceptance driven. And a lot of times this need to conform or this need for acceptance gets in the way of aligning with your higher self, right? So this is why the inner self does the filtering job, allowing you to keep that line of communication between your higher self and the ego or your presence in the world. And last but not least, the body or your physical presence. Now, a lot of people may not think that their body is part of their ego or part of anything other than being a body. However, the body or our physical presence is how we make our way through life. And this is how we gain acceptance. This is how we connect with people. This is how we find our clan or people or the type of environment that we feel like we belong. The physical aspect of the person plays a major role in the overall sense of self. And we usually confuse our physical appearance with the self, okay? Your physical appearance is just an aspect of you. It's not all of you. So whatever you're going through in life, physically, is just an aspect of your true essence. The idea of a self is the person as a whole that takes into consideration the energy aspect of the person and the mind aspect of the person. The mind is the intelligent design and the energy is the manifestation or the tangible presence of that design.